Many of you have been asking for a car update, so keep watching this vlog because at the end you'll get to where I am right now, which is sort of good news. So just giving Rasher a quick walk. So if you're a new excuse me, subscriber, viewer, watcher, about this time last year I was involved in a car crash. And I wrote off my car, which was like, oh, God, whatever, really bad. Anyway, I was then given a courtesy car whilst my car was being assessed for the insurance details and all the rest of it. And I'm probably going to have to stop because Russia is going. Guess what Russia's just done? Oh no, she had the wheel. She had a wheel, not the other one. So I then was given a courtesy car a few days after the car crash while my car was being assessed, and I am literally sat in my living room. This is something like a week, less than a week, I think 6 days, something like that, after the first car crash where my car got written off. So I've now got a courtesy car and I'm sat in my living room, and it was a cold winter's morning again. This time last year, sort of mid-January, end of January, and it'd been snowing, and there was a white van outside our living room window, and I'm thinking, that's been there a while. Anyway, thinking it's an Amazon delivery man, didn't pay much attention, and then he was there for 5 minutes, so I better go and have a look. Anyway, across the road where my courtesy car was parked, there was all people around it. To cut a long story short, again, you'll need to go back a year, and you can. There's all CCTV of this happening. A car was legging it down the road I live on, and a van was legging it up the road I was living on, and they were about to have a head-on crash. So the car, rather than have a head-on crash with the van, decided to smash straight into the courtesy car and wrote it off. So 2 cars written off in 2 weeks. You just couldn't make this shit up. Absolutely unbelievable. So, as I say, keep watching because I will give you an update where I am now. I'm just trying to give some background, some background for anybody who's not been following the saga. Anyway, last year car prices were still quite high. Second-hand car prices were still quite high post-pandemic and all the rest of it. And we got an insurance payout, and then I was panicking this time last year that I needed to have a potential tow vehicle. So if I needed to bring my caravan home from the nurseries at the end of the season or whatever, I needed a tow vehicle because I wasn't too sure what the circumstances were going to be job-wise and going forward. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we ended up with a Mazda CX-5, and it had a 3-month warranty. So we took it on a very long drive just to make sure it was all working. Went down to Cornwall, and everything seemed to be okay. Got to Cornwall, had a drive about, all good. Then we ended up making our trip over to the nurseries. Car was okay, got there fine, and then literally a few weeks later the car starts to go into limp mode. Into the garage it went. Oh mate, it'll only be a sensor, don't worry about it, it won't be anything major. Gave me a courtesy car in the garage for about 2 or 3 weeks because obviously there's a backlog of work that he's doing, and to be told basically the head gasket had gone and it needed a new engine, blah blah blah, and that was going to cost £6,000. So managed to trade in, or get rid of the Mazda, and got a Chevrolet people carrier, and that was a lemon from a dodgy dealer in Alford. I had somebody come and look at it, and he says, oh, it was meant to be in 4-wheel drive, one of the prop shafts was missing and other things. So that took that back and said to the guy, look mate, I ain't happy with this, I need something else. And then to cut a long story short, another Korando, so the car that I wrote off originally was a SsangYong Korando, came in, and I traded that in and got myself a Korando. and everything was wonderful. By now it's, I don't know, where are we? It must be about September, something like that. So everything was great. Did quite a few miles locally in the Corando. Right, I'm just coming back home now. I'm just going to put Rasher in and I'll carry on this story about the Corando. So then I end up with a Corando. And the Corando, great car. Cruising about, doing all the rest of it. Everything was hunky-dory, everything was fine, and no issues at all. Until it was about a week before I'm due to come home, and Sandra was with me at the nurseries. And pulled into a garage, and I noticed there was some oil dripping out from under the engine bay. Fortunately, I was right next to a garage, or virtually right next to a garage. Took it in to them, said, can you have a quick look at that? It's a bit of a mystery. And they had a quick look and said, it's the crankshaft oil seal leaking. And blah, 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 blah. For them to do the work was a 6 to 8 week lead-in time. So I was going to say, because right into Christmas, and obviously I needed to be back home by the middle of November. So I said, is it drivable? So they said, it is drivable. So I managed to get the car back to the nurseries. And then obviously Sandra was with us. We had to think about it. And basically the crankshaft oil seal is sort of between the gearbox and the engine. If you don't know where this is, and even though the seal is relatively inexpensive, it's quite a big job to fix because the engine's got to be lowered. The gearbox has got to be taken out. So basically the gearbox is separated from the engine to put the crankshaft oil seal in. And if you're going to do that, then you're up to that stage. You'd be a fool not to replace the clutch mechanism, or the clutch system and all the rest of it. So, oh, bloody Nora. So it was 6 to 8 weeks for a garage in Lincolnshire to do the fix. I had got recovery, so that was an option. But I'd also had a couple of little jobs done by a local mechanic. And I'm not going to go into full details on this now because there is a legal case involved with this. So phoned up this local mechanic and said, are you able to replace a crankshaft oil seal? It's a big job because the engine's got to be lowered. The gearbox has got to come. It's a bit like replacing a clutch basically, but bit of extra work. Yep, Neil can do that, blah, 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 blah. It was just about £1,000 worth of parts. So he asked me to buy the parts and then he was going to fit them, which I did. And then I had to wait, obviously, for the parts to come. To cut a long story short, the mechanic did not show up, wouldn't answer any phone calls. He took the money. He allegedly got the parts. And that situation is ongoing. I'm not going to go into details, apart from to say all is good. So don't worry about the dodgy guy in Lincolnshire. It is all in hand. I'm not going to say any more on that because there's something legally going on that. Anyway, so I then had to get the car, the Corando, brought back from Lincolnshire to Manchester on a low loader. That's quite an adventure. I got it back here and then had to touch down and find a local garage. So there's one up the road from us that we use. Went in to see him and told him what the situation was. He said, fine, Neil, we can do it. Obviously we're really busy. It's going to take a few weeks. Parts need to be ordered and all the rest of it. So we ended up having to order all the parts for the Corando. So a second lot of clutch mechanism and everything. They all came, and we're now into sort of December, I'm guessing. Early December, second week December, whatever. And then when they were doing it, the sump seal on the engine was slightly leaking, so they had to take the sump off to replace the seal. It's not like an old gasket like you used to. Anyway, that all got done. But then while they were doing that, they found that the reason why the crankshaft oil seal had actually broken was there was an oil pressure problem in the Cando engine. So this is now coming right up to Christmas. And to cut long story short, the Korando oil hadn't been changed for a long time. The oil filter was absolutely unbelievably, it was unbelievable, the state of the engine. So they then had to find a breather pipe in a rocker cover, blah, 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 to find out, because that's meant to let the pressure out. Then, so the current state of play now, so we managed to track down where that was. Obviously, Christmas has now come and gone, because the garage has still got the car and they're still doing these bits on it. And they're suspicious now that there's a problem with the actual rocker cover. So that right now has been sent off to a specialist to get it checked out. Rather than buy a brand new one, somebody said we can test it and we can check this breather valve. So that's where the Korando is. It's not back, and it could be some time off. So where am I? Where are we? Where am I? I'm not in the Noddy car. I'm now in a Honda. Right, and he's gone to see somebody. I will carry on in a moment to why I'm now in a Honda. So, I've now got a Honda Civic. I was going to go and see somebody, and I'll explain to how I've ended up with another car. All's good, all's very good, all is wonderful. We got there in the end, but I'll continue the story once I've just got this next little job done and out of the way, back into the car. So again, I will continue a little bit more into this, what's going on. We decided, because we don't have a full date or exactly how long it's going to be before the Korando's out of action, and going forward, somehow I've needed a set of wheels. So I've been, if you've been following the vlogs, you'll have probably gathered that it tends to be on a Tuesday. I've been borrowing Sandra's Noddy car. So we've ended up with this Honda Civic. It's a bit of an oldish one, full service history, fairly low mileage. There's a doctor that had it before. I've got a 3-month warranty on it again, but feel a lot more confident now that I've got a car that's going to work. And then what we'll need to be doing then with the Korando, as and when that's ready, we've got a couple of ideas with that. Whether or not it ends up back in Lincolnshire, we're unsure, but we've got some ideas of what's going to happen with that. So don't worry. He'll have had a lot of money spent on it. But at this current state of play where I am now, I don't need, fingers crossed, a tow car, because my caravan is now on what should be its pitch till the end of the season. And then if I do need to get my caravan from the nurseries, all being well, by the end of the season, when that might happen, we have got things going on with the house move as well. Obviously, I can't go into. It's only less than a handful of miles away from the nurseries, so I can beg, steal, borrow, ask somebody if need be to tow my Adria caravan from the nurseries to our new property if I get to that stage. And then going forward, sort of this time next year, obviously the whole house move, fingers crossed, will be over. The summer season 2024 at the nurseries will be done and dusted. We'll have made some decisions to where we're going to be going to for 2025, and things like that. And obviously we'll have some extra money in the bank with the house sales and collateral and all the rest of it. So we may end up at the end of this year, where am I now, 2024, aren't we? We may end up buying a new car, or a newish car, or a newer car. We'll wait and see. But if our lives in Lincolnshire happen, everything goes smoothly, my days of caravanning will be coming to a close, so I won't be needing a 2-litre vehicle with a tow bar on the back and things like that. We'll be able to go for a much smaller, economical vehicle that's suitable for myself, Sandra and Barbara. So that's sort of that, but I now need to nip out and I need to go and buy a bunch of flowers. So yeah, we've ended up with two cars on the road and 1 car in for repair. So that's the Honda Civic, and you're going to go, Neil, what on earth are you doing? So whatever happens with the house sale that we've got going through, Sandra has got to work 3 months notice. So even if we end up getting everything can click in the next 4 weeks, Sandra's still got to stay in Manchester for 3 months. So we're in no mad rush to do things, and we'll make a decision on what's going to happen with the Korando as and when we know what's going to happen with the Korando. So why on earth have I bought a Honda? Well, this has got a lot of boxes ticked for reliability, everything basically, and even though it's a really old car, it's actually, believe it or believe it not, clean air zone and ULEZ compliant. So I can drive that if I had to go through Bradford or anywhere basically where these cameras are. That's actually, believe it or believe it not, is ULEZ compliant. So it's not a tow car, it's quite a small engine on it. I'm going to have a quick look inside. Sorry, this, yeah, if you've not seen, this is one of the, I think it's the Mark 9. It's got the space age handles on it. There's no door handles on the passenger side. Look here, look, no door handles. They're tucked away up here. It's got the wraparound back, futuristic. Even the oil, the petrol cap is futuristic, alloys and all the rest of it on it. And I am going to need to put some gadgets in here. As I say, it's an old car. It's very clean, to be honest. I'll put the engine on. Oh. Ooh. Turn that down. Turn that down, don't let the copyrights. Right, so this is the dashboard. If you're not seeing one of the Honda Civics, this has got the futuristic wraparound dash on it and all the rest of it. So like this 3D display here, we can do a number of sets on here. So see MPG, how many miles we've got left, and eco mileage and things like that. The engine stop start button. The radio is outdated. It's a pretty basic radio. So back in the Korando, if you've been watching, you will remember, or you may not know, but we fitted some extras. So when I do product reviews, I always say this product review is something that I think might be good for you, or something that's going to be good for me. And so a number of items that I've done product reviews were actually in the Korando, and I'm leaving them in. One of them was the rear mirror was changed, and that had a reversing camera built into it and a dash cam. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do that again, because this has not got a reversing camera. The Korando also had CarPlay units in that you've seen me doing reviews on. So to cut a long story short, I've got 2 CarPlay units on the way for product reviews, and both have got dash cams in. So I may fit a CarPlay unit. This panel comes off here. So on a newer version of this has got a sat nav system on it. So a CarPlay unit would go here. So I've got a dash cam there, a little neck space just temporarily there. It may sit there quite nicely, and then that'll plug into the stereo system that's in the car. And everything. So the drawback with that, the aux button, sorry, is in here. So there's going to be a bit of jiggery pokery to do. Cup holders, even a futuristic gear stick. Look at that! Isn't that quirky, isn't it? So basically, that's where we're up to. So I'm now back on the road in the Honda. The SsangYong is in the process of being repaired, all being well, or we'll make some decisions on that going forward. And Sandra has now got full-time use of her car. She doesn't need to let me borrow it for a day of running around and shopping and things like that. So yeah, Honda Civic time. I'm sure I'm going to get lots of comments in here going, what happened to all the warranties and things? So yeah, we have got one warranty claim in. Whether or not that will come out, but don't worry about it. We are where we are at the end of the day, and you know, it's been pretty awful, to be fair. Some of the things that have gone on, it's been quite stressful and incredibly frustrating. As I say, the geezer in Lincolnshire, all I can say to that is happy days, and I can't say any more than that. So don't worry about that. And as I say, this other car dealership place in Lincolnshire, I won't be recommending. So yeah, hey ho, that's the way the mop flops. Oh, sorry, this, I got a bunch of flowers for somebody. You'll know who those are for. I've got somebody's birthday coming up tomorrow, and as I say, all these vlogs are all a couple of days behind. Oh sorry, yeah, let me just show you something really quirky in here. I've never seen this before. Sorry, this one. So obviously Sandra's mum is a wheelchair user. So you've got your usual back seats what come up, but look at this here. I'm going to have to put the camera down to do this. Right, so Sandra's mum is a wheelchair user. Look here, look. These seats do this. And look at that amount of space there, and the doors open 45 degrees. Most car doors only go open that far, so you can get a bike in there, anything. Look at that. How good is that? Seriously, really good. So yeah, so say if you need to bring Barbara's wheelchair in it goes there. This time next year, this may be going, Sandra's car may be going, we don't know. We may only need one car. This time next year, we possibly won't need a hatchback. As I say, I'm just mindful that when I go back to work at the nurseries, I've got loads of boxes and my cases and stuff like that. So there's plenty of space to do in the next couple of weeks. So I've got some new product reviews coming in, some gadgets to fit in the car. So, have you ever had a Honda? Have you ever had a Honda Civic? I think it's a Mark 9 is where it comes under. And here we are, almost a year on since that car crash. You really could not make the car situation up, the whole car thing up. 1 year on, you couldn't make it up. As ever, thank you ever so much for watching, and look after yourselves, guys, and may every day be a car worry free day.